Okay, so after confirming the audio works, after a few fixes here and there, we're live and ready. Anyways, hey everyone, Phantom here from Phantom Reaper, or Yuki, I am still deciding on the proper name. And this video was supposed to be part of the Arc V rewrite, well the latest episode of the Arc V rewrite. But for some reason the audio wasn't working, and after two attempts that lasted nearly half an hour, I just wanted to get the video out, so yeah, but now we are here for the Sanctum Knight deck profile. They really didn't get to do much, so I've decided to do a little demonstration on what everything does. Now we obviously have some staples which I won't explain. I'll just focus on the actual cards. So yeah, and you might be noticing two cards are missing. That's because those two have yet to make an appearance. Well, at a specific time. But anyways, let's actually start off with the ritual spell, because I did not explain that enough. This is Sanctuary Rite, which is also treated as a Sanctum card. And you might notice some contradictions here and there. Let's just say this was my first attempt at implementing cards into Edo Pro. So yeah. Anyways, this lets you ritual summon one of the Sanctum Knight monsters. However, it also allows you to banish a monster from the extra deck. Your extra deck. So this is why we have such a big extra deck right here. Although with XC's monsters they only count as level 1s for some reason, which is fine. And it's also, so I just kind of stuffed it with random extra deck monsters here and there. So yeah. And that's just a summary. There's also some other part of the effects which I don't know if they actually work, such as being able to use an opponent's monster from the extra deck. Most of the time, I just use my own, so I don't know if that's working. And frankly, after many attempts, I don't want to break this fragile state I'm in. Anyways, next is Sanctum Transcendence, which basically lets you swap out a Ritual Sanctum monster for another. I came up with this one from imagining a moment between the duel of Kronos and Reggie, because Aegis Litos can't attack directly after it uses its gain many more attacks effect and yada yada. So instead of just having him become an ultimate beatstick, have him tag out for someone else, like Kiradexa right here. And you might notice every single one of them is rock. Yeah. No warriors, no spellcasters, no dragon, they are rocks, because I feel like that type doesn't get represented as much. And if you want a good rock type, you just use magnets, which, yeah. Anyways, this is self-explanatory, so I don't really need to explain it that much. And here's Sanctum Knight Sacred Accord, which, upon its activation, lets you add a Sanctum Knight monster from your deck to your hand. And if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, you gain 1000 LP. I'm not sure if that part of the effect works. Probably gonna do some testing later just to see if these effects work. If not, I'll probably just have to edit the text. Anyways, if you ritual summon a Sanctum Knight monster, you get to draw a card, which is what happened when Kronos summoned it, but I didn't have him explain it because I didn't realize. So yeah, he basically drew a card and sent a non-ritual Sanctum Knight monster from his deck to the graveyard. And originally, some of the Sanctum Knight monsters, in fact, the Sanctum Knights didn't really have a good way of using their graveyard. So I added a few of those effects. Well, actually, I gave some of those graveyard effects to help. Anyways, once per turn, you can discard one card, add one Sanctuary Rite from your GOI or Banish Zone to the hand. If you control no monsters special summon from the extra deck, Sanctum Knight monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And yeah, there's a spelling error, expect a lot of those. And here is Sanctum Rite of Return. Shuffle 2 Sanctum Knight monsters from your graveyard into the deck and draw a card. But if you shuffle a ritual monster, you can add a Sanctuary Rite from your graveyard to your hand instead of drawing. A good way to recycle. But now let's get on to the monsters. First off, and something you'll notice is a lot of them are based off existing monsters. That was intentional. They're like purified versions, because we always see the the ill swarms, the shadows, evil corrupt versions of monsters, but I don't really see much purified ones. And originally they were all just going to be based off the Gem Knights, kind of like, another branch of them. But then I saw the conclusion to Dragon Court Hex's story, that card right there. And yeah, she became a dragon, guys. She became the very thing she swore to destroy. And that's actually not a bad Hirozen. Still don't like Rushdals though. So that's actually what inspired me to make a cure text right here. But let's get on to the monsters. Some of them will have similar effects, so I'll only talk about the unique effects. If the text is weird, I apologize. Anyways, when this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or low Sanctum Knight monster from your hand or GY. If it's used as ritual material, the ritual monster gains this effect. And when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you can destroy it. And it's a once per turn. Yeah, this is based off Heliotrope, Evil Swarm Heliotrope. Like, he has become purified, he has been saved. Yeah, expect a lot of these. Anyways, here's Alexandra's Vanguard. If your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the GY as ritual material, you can target one monster you control, gains 1000 attacks, also it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of your turn. This card here helps with the low attack, because apart from one specific monster, the ritual monsters of the deck have quite low attack. Unless you're Cure Hexer who can just equip something. And yeah, Alexandra's Vanguard helps with that. And here's Garrett Blade. And it has the same effect as Heliotrope. If it's used as ritual material, you can search for a Sanctum Knight monster from your and add it to your hand. Anyways, here's Amber Cleaver, who, if was made real, would probably be a staple in a lot of people's decks, but I'm not a meta deck builder, so I'm not really sure. Anyways, here's this effect. Same special summon if control from extra deck effect. And when this card is normal special summon, you can send one monster from your opponent's extra deck to the GY. If this card is used as ritual material, you can banish one monster in your opponent's GY that was special summoned from the extra deck. If this card is sent to the GY, you can target one monster you're on the field, destroy it, and if it was special summoned from the extra deck, its effects cannot be activated this turn. Yeah. Basically, a very anti-extra deck card. Could probably work real well in Monarchs now that I think about it. Because they're also anti-extra deck. And like Monarchs, this deck will brick. But it has ways to deal with that. Anyways, here's Verdant Warden. And just to clarify, the graveyard effects came after I recorded the duel between Reggie and Kronos. So I do apologize. Yeah. And at the end, there's going to be another duel between Kronos and Reggie. So, yeah, look forward to that. Anyways, here's Verdant Warden. Normal special summoned. Add one Sanctum spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. I tried to make the trap cards. I did. It was a pain, and I just decided to focus on a few cards, because I just was cramming on this. This is actually the first Sanctum Knight card I made. Not drawn, but made and implemented. Pretty cool. Anyways, and also would probably be useful in anti-extra decks. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck is sent to the GUI, you can target one of them and banish it. When your opponent activates a card, you can banish this card from the GUI and negate it. I really got a spell check. And if it was a monster, reduce its attack by 1,000. Yeah, having these two on the field is just painful. But if you have something like Forbidden Droplet, you'll probably be fine. Just negate them. And the reason why I didn't use Forbidden Droplet, I needed a field negate and not just one monster. So yeah. Besides, I kind of like Dark Ruler no more. Look at Dark Ruler of the Abyss. Pow! He's winning. Anyways, here's the two Pendulum monsters, and you'll notice their scales between 5 and 1. Because the monsters never go above level 4 or below level 3. This is actually the lowest level one right here. Anyways, getting off topic. Now, both Lapis and Lazuli Protector have the same punishment effect, where each time your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, they must pay 1,000 LP. Otherwise, each time that was from my Rayquaza only run. I don't know if you guys can see the notification. Yeah, I play Pokemon Rogue. It's pretty fun. I actually should play it again. Anyways, however, if you only have one of them, you have to pay that 1,000 LP cost. So you need 2 cards in the Pendulum Zone. And once per turn, you can target up to 2 banished Sanctum Knight monsters, return them to the GUI, then gain 500 LP. And if a ritual monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can destroy this card instead. And its normal effect is a special. It's normal special summon, target a one banished or one of your banished or God damn it, I don't know what I'm doing with these spells. Remind me all to double check my spelling next time I make cards. Basically, target a one Sanctum Knight monster that is banished or in the GUI, add it to your hand. If this card is used as ritual material, you can special summon a Sanctum Knight monster from your graveyard once per turn. Yeah. And here's Tormal Herald. If this card is normal summon, ooh, a normal summon monster like Alistair. You can send one Sanctum Knight monster from your deck to the GUI, and you contribute this card to add a ritual monster or a Sanctuary Rite from your deck to your hand. There are a few effects that do support standard rituals, because one of the monsters lets you special summon a level 7 or lower ritual monster. However, Diamond X Heart's the only one here, so yeah. I could have changed it to Sanctum Knight monsters, but I think it's cool that it supports other rituals. Anyways, once per turn you can add a Sanctuary Rite or Sanctum Knight spell trap from your deck to your hand and discard one card. And if a monster is banished to activate a ritual summon, you could draw a card. And remember, okay, and just to clarify, probably not all of these effects will work. I'm gonna really have to do a test run after this. Anyways, if discards normal special summon, you can send a Sanctum Knight monster from your deck to the GUI, and if it uses ritual material, you can add the Sanctum Knight from your GUI to your hand. Now that I think about it, if this deck was entirely Pendulum cards, yeah, this would make Sanctuary Rite really powerful. But nah, only 2, and maybe that one, and I'm getting off topic. Anyways, let's go on to Kronos' ace. Sanctum Knight Aegis Lithos. The first one I made. By that I drew. You can ritual summon this card with Sanctuary Rite. While you control this ritual summon card, your opponent can now activate the effects of monsters special summon from the extra deck during the battle phase. With this card, destroys a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck by battle. Again, I really need a spell check. I need to proofread this. This card gains attack equal to the monster's original attack. Also can make an additional attack on a monster during the battle phase. But it cannot attack directly. If this ritual summon card is distributed or destroyed, you can add one Sanctum Knight card from your deck to your hand. Yeah, I just let those as just a just a little fun fact. Originally, I was gonna include some dual spirit banter between the Sanctum Knights, and no, Kronos cannot see him. He cannot at all. So basically, it's like ghosts screaming at you, but you can't hear the ghost. And one character, and the characteristic of Litos is that imagine Doom guy. Yep, he's basic. He might be the oldest, but he's the most violent out of all of them. Demons, vile creatures of the night. He's just really overprotective of Graudos. And also there's some other lore things with him, but I'm not delving into that because we are missing a card that I haven't made yet that does tie into Litos' lore. Anyways, here's Kurotexer, who after seeing her story's conclusion, I was like, no, I'm not letting this happen. So yeah, this is the reason why I created Kurotexer, and made her into a pendulum monster to tie into the fact she used to be one. Anyways, once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It becomes a dragon type. Yeah, she can change cards into dragon types. Kind of wanted to keep a bit of the dragon sickness that she had, but now she can control it. Until the end of this turn, also its effects are negated until the end of this turn. If a monster is banished to activate a ritual summon, you can add one Sanctum Knight monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Sanctum Knight Cured Hexer once per turn. And you can ritual summon this card with Sanctuary Rite, yada yada. If it's ritual summon, you can target one monster in either player's GY or your opponent's field. That was special summon from the extra deck. Equip it to this card. This card gains attack equal to half the attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls. It becomes dragon type, and if a special summon for the extra deck, you can equip it to this card. If this card leaves the field, place it in the pendulum zone instead of sending it to the GY. Which doesn't make sense now that I think about it. And and a little fun fact about Litos was that his effect used to be equip monsters to him, and he would gain their attack. But I had trouble with trying to get pendulums to work, so I just changed it into that one. It also did have an end phase effect where all cards equipped to it are destroyed. Anyways, here's the other ritual monster, Diamond Exart, who really helps the deck a lot with some things. If this card is ritual summoned, you can target one monster, special summons from the extra deck, negate its effects. During the battle phase, if this card is on the field, all monsters special summon for the extra deck lose 1500 attack. Once per turn, if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck is sent to the field, you can banish that monster and draw one card. If this card leaves the field, you can special summon one Sanctum Knight monster from your deck or GY. Yeah, he really helps with the low attacks they have. And he pairs real well with Litos, because Litos gains the original attack. And I feel like I was supposed to say something else now that I think about it. Oh my god, I just realized Diamond XR has ace monster stats. Litos is the true ace of the deck. And yeah. That should be all of it. And I will actually be doing a duel between Kronos and Reggie. There won't be any audio, so it's gonna just be Reggie's deck that he used versus Kronos, because with that duel it was kind of heavily scripted, unlike with the Silvio and Yuto duel, which was natural. I really wanted to have it go in a specific direction, but it just didn't feel right. And if you're questioning some of these things, yeah, I put Card of Demise instead of Card of Sanctity because I think it works well. And I'm using the anime version. And Berserker's Soul is gonna be explained later. I feel like I was forgetting something. Not really. I don't think I am. Anyways, I'll switch over to the dual footage. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed this.